Hey YouTube, good morning. This is John with Space City EDC coming to you with a little video I've been wanting to talk to some people about and put out and see what everybody's thoughts are on it. Wanted to talk about knife locking mechanisms. Everybody has their favorite, myself included, and I'm sure everyone has their least favorite. So we'll just get right into it. Don't have every single type of knife lock, obviously, but I believe I got some of the most popular and maybe one little surprise one that maybe some people don't know about. So let's start with the most common, I think, that everyone sees, and that's your liner lock. Now, the liner lock basically is just a rest against the knife back here when you move it into position, and you have to use your thumb or finger to push it over to close the lock. It's very popular, cheaper to make, I believe. That's why it's so popular. And on a ton of knives, I could have reached in my drawer and probably pulled out 25 knives easily that without really looking too hard, that have the liner lock on them. And they also put them a lot on multi-tools, use them like my Surge here, and any Leatherman really. See, they have a liner lock system on them too. Got to push that over to unlock your outside locking tools. Very popular. Everybody uses them for different things. So that's one mechanism, and I'll let you know which ones I really prefer. Now the next one that is similar to the liner lock is going to be your frame lock. Here's a little Kershaw Creo. Same basic design. The metal is spring loaded. It springs over when the knife blade deploys and stops that knife blade from folding up on you. Not as popular as I would say the liner lock, but pretty popular and a little sturdier. I like it a little bit better than a regular liner lock for safety reasons. But you still have to put your thumb over here to push that over to get the blade to shut. So, that's another type of lock that's on some blades. And then we get into some of the more traditional. Now here's a Buck 110. It has a back lock on it. You have to push this down to release that mechanism so that this knife blade will not fold on you, or will fold up. But it's very, very sturdy, very safe, and a great thing. I like that. And they come in different ways. People use them, and people, like on my Spitfire here, you have to push down in the middle. That's another back lock. And some do that. Some put it at the end. Buck has them in different positions. Same basic principle. You have to push down that spring to unlock it. Push that down, and the knife will fold up. Easy peasy. Now, something that's becoming more popular, what they call the button lock. Got this button right here, and you can watch it from the back. You push that down, it releases the knife blade, and you can fold it up. But you don't have to put your fingers in the way. It's all one-handed. Easy to deploy, easy to fold. I like that. I like that button lock a lot. On whatever it would come on. I have a couple of them. Not that many, but a couple. Now this is some people call it an access lock or a sliding lock back here. And this is just an Ozark Trail, but Benchmade uses similar ones, and there's other knife designers that use them. You have to pull this pull this slide back, and it releases blade so you can fold it up. And pretty popular. And even on your more expensive knives, this is not an expensive knife, but it mimics an expensive design. So, but you don't have to put your fingers in the way. So that's a nice, safe lock. This is another type of button lock on this Milwaukee Fastback. But of course, you know, not as much danger of you getting cut. There's nothing, the blade, you know, you don't have a total blade length on there. But that's another button lock. And this is one that I don't know if everybody knows about. It's called a bolster lock. This is a little Rough Rider toothpick. Nice knife. I really like this knife. One of my favorites in my collection. But it's locked, okay? And it has this little tab right here, if you look, in the bolster that you push over just like you would a liner lock. And it releases the knife blade so you can fold it up. If you don't push that over, you're not going to fold up on you. I thought that is really slick. That is a slick design. Pretty cool. And that's called a bolster lock. You know, I don't know how many knife makers use it, but Rough Rider is one of them that uses it, and you can buy it from. And of course, this is a traditional slip joint that everybody knows about. Hundreds of years old, very popular. This just happens to be Victorinox. It doesn't lock, so could you categorize it as a locking knife? No, but it has its own little detent, so it does kind of lock, but it's not per se a locking blade. So I just wanted to drop that in there because it's so popular as a slip joint. You know, used on tons of knives, tons of conventional folders. So now, which one is my favorite type of lock? I'm not a fan of the liner lock, even though I have hundreds of knives that have liner locks in them, because they're so popular. You know, I just don't. It's all one-handed, but some liner locks are not well designed and they're hard to get over. This one happens to be pretty easy, but if it's hard to get over anything and you're trying to you put any kind of pressure on that blade to bring it over, and you're not careful, you can see how that could end up being a disaster. So, is it popular? Would I buy one? Absolutely. Am I fond of it? No. I'm not really fond of the liner locks. Frame lock, even though it's very sturdy, and I love this little Creole. Once again, you have to put your fingers in the way of the knife, so you have to be a little extra careful when you're folding these knives up. The bolster lock, I like that, even though you got to put your finger in the way. It's just unique, maybe, but still that little possibility of error. Now, when you get into the button locks, you know, you don't have to put your fingers in the way. All one-handed, nice and safe, easy peasy. You are not really in danger of getting cut unless you just absolutely forget and put your fingers in the way. Same thing with this axis lock here, or sliding lock. If I don't want to, my fingers never have to get in the way of the blade. Very safe design, I think. So, I prefer this type of lock. These locks I have a ton of. Not a ton of the frame locks, but I have several frame locks, but not a ton. I do have a ton of the liner locks. And the bolster lock just happens to be the only bolster lock I have. I just thought it was cool and I wanted to let y'all see it. And I would definitely buy another one. But the lock backs are another one I really feel like is a good design because it keeps your fingers out of the way, forces you to, reach back here and almost forces you to use two hands, although you don't have to use two hands. Same thing with this one. You got to reach back. You can't, first of all, the knife's not going to fold on you. Second of all, you have to hold the blade while you're doing this almost. You may not. You could probably, a lot of times I'll put this up against my pants or something and fold it up, but it's just I like the design. I feel like it's a safer design than your regular liner locks. But anyway, I just wanted to put that out there and show you a couple of different locking mechanisms if you weren't real familiar with them. As always, be safe when you're handling these sharp and shinies. And hope you guys are having a great day. If you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe. And hopefully I'll see you on the next one. This is John with Space City. Take care.